Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Southern Scrap Nation's podcast with your host, Daniel Jonas. There we go. Much better. Today is May 10th, 2023. It's around 12 o'clock midday here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We'll be going over UFC 288's results. Aljamain Sterling versus Henry Cejudo. Aljamain Sterling retains the bantamweight belt, and then we'll be getting into some MMA news before we get into some breakdowns of this weekend's UFC Charlotte card. Special edition here. UFC Charlotte breakdown in Charlotte. So let's go ahead and go over what happened this past weekend at UFC 288. We'll start with Aljamain Sterling retaining the belt in a pretty competitive performance, as far as Henry Cejudo coming off of a 4-year layoff and then kind of bringing it to Aljamain and not getting deterred by the length and the funkiness, if you will, and even getting taken down, getting right back up, not exposing his back and making the mistake of that. And then Aljamain did a good job of just, taking him down, being versatile. But as far as the fight goes, it was kind of lackluster for all the trash talk that there was. That's my opinion of it. As far as the performances from each fighter, Henry did a good job coming back, being 36, not have been actively fighting in 4 years or so. And it's, to me, he says he was done after the fight, but then he immediately tweeted that he wants to fight Merab. I don't know. That's a good fight, as far as I think Merab is probably the only person in the division that can actually out-wrestle Cejudo. But as far as Cejudo coming back at 36, is Merab a guy you want to fight? Especially a guy who's so big on his legacy. You may feel like you might be able to beat Merab, but then what's the other side of the outcome? Like, if you don't beat him, you're just another one that he steps over and then holds that number one contender spot, I guess. It's kind of a frustrating thing, I want to like Aljamain Sterling, but the whole Merab thing and the way that they move, I don't know. It's kind of annoying, as far as you're holding up a division, and it's not even like a justifiable reason, as far as being injured, like the Dominic Cruz era where he was chronically injured. And he held up the division in that way, so you had just interim belt after interim belt after interim belt. But this is you're holding up the division because you guys like each other too much. As a fighter, it's a selfish sport, and I understand maybe a selfish decision by both of them is to hold up the division in their own way. Or maybe there's a plan, hopefully, that Aljamain does go up to 145. But man, it's just a bummer, For Henry, or for Aljamain, yeah, you beat Henry, you fight Sugar, and if you beat him, then hopefully 145. But with the Sugar fight and what I saw in the Henry fight, it's just a continuation of that same kind of fighting style. You're ducking your head. You're exploiting the rule of no knees on a grounded opponent. To me, that's not a way a champion fights, in my opinion. Is you're not exploiting if you're in there to fight, I understand you don't want to get kicked, but then have better work on your technique. Don't just work on the technique of exploiting a rule. Because if you want to be the best martial artist, then you want to adhere to using martial arts for self-defense and a self-defense purpose. And that means doing the right technical things to make sure you never are in a bad position because, you watch ONE FC, and in that position, not that he would fight there, but if he was to, or that fighting style was used there, it would be very inefficient. You'd get soccer kicked. And I just think, like, in the mind of, like, Rory McDonald had a really good, I think he was on Rogan when he was talking about, he had a really good point. He's like, those strikes should be legal. Like knees to the head on a downed opponent, soccer kicks to a downed opponent. And at first I was hesitant on, like, siding with that rule, but when he explained it, it makes sense. Just don't put yourself in that position. Work on the technique and don't put yourself in that position. And then to back that up, like in ONE, when it gets to that position, it's not because the other fighter is just like snapping them down and putting them in that position and just kneeing their head in. It's more the other guy or girl doesn't do the right technique and they put themselves in that bad position, and then one after the other, it's a pretty quick way to end the fight. Anyway, that's my reasons why I wasn't super ecstatic about the main event. But Sean O'Malley, hopefully he can make it exciting. I know it takes two to tango. He's probably going to try to Corey Sandhagen him, but we'll see. We'll see. Sean O'Malley does train with some pretty good jiu-jitsu people. I don't know. We'll see. Co-main event, Bilal Muhammad versus Gilbert Burns. Like I thought, Bilal won. I thought he was going to finish him. I thought it was just going to put the pressure on him. He hurt. Gilbert's arm was busted. Like his shoulder was busted. He was beating up his arm with those kicks. And he was just kind of like touching him for 5 rounds. I was like, you won 5 rounds. You got Sean Brady out of there in like 1. I would have expected like out of the 3rd round maybe you get Gilbert out of there. And Gilbert just, those fight camps wear on you. And like the Bilal Muhammad, they say he took a short notice after Ramadan, and that's tough. Gilbert took this a short notice after 2 other camps. It's tough for Bilal to cut the weight, tough for him to get going, but it's not like he just got done crashing his body into another person's body, and Gilbert's last fight. Yeah, Masvidal, it was 3 rounds. The Neil Magny was 1, but still, all that goes into it. So it's tough. So he seemed a little slow in the mud. But Bilal did a good job. It's another one of those cases. Like, you finish Sean Brady, get Gilbert out of there. Especially if he's hurt. Jessica Andrade versus Yao Xiaonan. Great performance by Yan. I'm excited because she's fighting the champ next. It's the first Chinese on Chinese violence that we're going to see in the UFC for a championship in China. And that's going to be crazy. That's martial arts at its peak, bro. That's awesome. I'm super excited about that fight. And they're not the same fighter in the stylistically, but they're just more well-rounded fighters. So I don't even know how that's going to go. It's one of those, I hope it's 5 rounds kind of fight, because just the setting, the hype that's going to be behind it, at least relatively, we might not feel it, but they'll definitely feel it in China. The hype that's going to be behind it, and I just think hopefully that brings fireworks and performance, or impressive finishes or something like that. But yeah, I'm pumped. Jessica Andrade, same issue with Gilbert Burns, fight after fight after fight, just trying to, I don't know if you're trying to cash checks, I don't know what the deal is, but she has a good chance. She had a good, in my opinion, I think this fight's kind of a turning of a corner for her in the sense of, I don't know if championship aspirations are still, I don't know. The division's kind of shallow and she's got so much power in her hands. I guess she could just randomly knock out her way up to the top again, but 24-11, not passing of the torch, but like Jan's the future. Jessica's probably she's kind of doing this for cash. I guess she's doing it for cash because she got beat by what was her name, Erin Blanchfield, and then now Jan, and they're essentially like those up and coming fighters that kind of used her as a stepping stone. So sad to see. But we then now moved on to the Movsar Evloev fight versus Diego Lopez. So replacement of a replacement of a replacement fight. Not even close to the original fight that we were supposed to have, but fun times. So what I took away from this fight was, one, Diego Lopez looked great pushing the pressure on a undefeated fighter and number 10 in the world. Just coming in here. Well, I guess he was in training camp, so it wasn't like off the couch, but short notice. Put the pace, put him in some dangerous positions as far as submission wise. And my takeaway from it was, oh man, if this was Bryce Mitchell, like healthy and all is well, I think Bryce Mitchell probably could have caught Movsar. Just because Diego was having success with he was having success with the jiu-jitsu and putting it and transitioning from submission to submission, and Bryce Mitchell has that, but like a little bit trickier. Like, I don't know if Movsar Evloev has seen that or has rep defenses to it. So the truck position, like all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I feel like he would have had a good chance. But overall, the performance was just Evloev taking the first round to feel out Diego and then adapting in the second and third and kind of dominating. And then in the main event opener, or main card opener, Charles Jourdain did what Charles Jourdain was supposed to do and just kind of beat up Kron Gracie as Kron moved forward like a heavy bag. Tried to butt scoot. I don't know. Find out how many fights he has left on his contract, I guess. It's just like, you're gone for that long. Can work on something. Can work out a little bit on some striking. Yeah. And like, he jumped guard. He got him to the positions. It didn't do anything. Charles Jourdain was like, cool, I'm a black belt too. Like, you're not going to get me in jiu-jitsu right now. We're fighting. So if I punch you in the face, how can you maintain the jiu-jitsu control? Like, I know he's grappling credentialed, but so is Gilbert Burns. It's not like these guys are just, if the other person is a black belt level or has like a high level of grappling, in MMA, you're not going to just submit your way again to the top like Royce Gracie did. It's not that simple anymore. The idea that most people don't know how to just readjust their hips, center themselves in guard, and then start punching you, and then forcing you to turn away and open your guard, allowing them to pass. Fluffy Hernandez submitted Rodolfo Vieira. It's not crazy anymore. Things have changed. People have gotten better. Adapt to the game. You can't be 1994, I guess, jiu-jitsu. It just doesn't work. And I know it's a kind of a whatever take right now because everyone's saying it, but shout out to Charles Jourdain. Exposing Kron for, the lack of skill and the skill gap there is. Like, shout out to Charles Jourdain for being the expectation level if you're going to fight in the UFC. You know, really breaking that whole facade of, oh, Kron's is a master at jiu-jitsu. He's going to jump on your back and you're not even going to be able to do anything about it, and he's going to choke. It's like, no. Not to take away from Charles Jourdain. He's not a champ, but he is a high-level MMA fighter, and this is what happens. It's so much different now. And if you don't get better, you're going to get fucked up. All right, so prelims, shout out to Matt Favola, Kennedy with that ninja choke. Sick. Love it. Love the ninja choke. Shout out to the Chaos Williams and the Ronaldo Bedoya fight. Ronaldo Bedoya putting in that. I told you. He didn't get the win, but I told you. One to watch. And he is part of the shoot-to box team, like the Charles Oliveira team. I just thought he fought like them. He's like actually part of their team. It's pretty sick. Shout out to Salvador Bahia, Jan Giroba getting a win. See, like, this is like the new crop of fighters. You know, Jessica Andrade, like I said, 20-something and 11. Jan Giroba, 19-3. Marina Rodriguez, 16-3-2. Like, this is the next. Oh, that's okay. Especially if you like to fight. Shout out to Ikram Aleskrov, just doing the damn thing. Dude. What a knockout. You know what? He deserves it. Ikram. He deserves this. He deserves these. Alright, I gotta find one that people don't give a shit about. I don't need the highlights. Okay. Yo. Okay, cool. Here we go. Ooh. Beautiful. And straight down the pipe.
It was clean, too. I mean, it was clean.
DC, it was clean.
2 shots on the same side of his head. You get hit like that normally.
Boom. He misses the elbow. Boom. Southpaw in the inside.
Oh, my goodness.
He's so good. I mean, he lost to Chimaev, and that just like shows you the level of talent from that side of the world. Dude's a Dagestani wrestler, I think. I don't know. Maybe he's a striker. But anyway, that guy's a Dagestani. Like, and he knocks you out. Get me over there. All right. Let's go over some news. What are we looking at time-wise? All right, perfect. All right, so news. Let's go to... Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, we'll start with this. God. Yeah, okay. So he was calm, and so this is... I mean, but this is Nate... Okay. Let me read this first. So Jake Paul says, I think he's a bully, like choking out random dudes on the street. He's always getting into fights, always causing trouble, so I'm excited to go there on August 5th and bully the bully. He was calm, respectful today. I don't know. It was interesting. I wanted to get him riled up because he talks that shit on social media. He says everything in interviews, but today when I was face to face with him, he acted like a bitch. Unquote. That's kind of like the Diaz Bros thing. Like, they're very, like, unless you get in their space, like, they kind of just like they do the Chael Sonnen Wanderlei Silva thing. Like, I can't let you get close. And that's kind of how they are. It's like they're not going to be aggressive, but if you start that shit, they're going to fire back with that shit. And that's kind of the way I look at it, and even with their exchange, like look at the way they're postured. Like Jake's reaching out to his hands because, if you're afraid of someone like slapping you or whatever, it's like you go to reach for something, and that's not the way, especially in martial arts, you want to deal with things, especially in a self-defense way. You don't want to ever reach. You're becoming the aggressor when you're reaching. I mean, obviously there's tactical reasons to reach, like if you're fighting a southpaw. But if you keep your hands up, and by your face, like I can find where I can like expose where your chin is by keeping my hand, and as you reach, slip into the outside or whatever. And in this situation, that's how I feel. Even on like a social interaction point, Nate's not gonna, that guy in the street, the guy came up to Nate, tried to drop level on him. Like, it's not like Nate went up to the guy and just put him in a rear naked or in a head guillotine and just like choked him out. Like, he'll talk shit. Maybe he like pushes your buttons, but that's like, don't get emotional about it. Says anything else? I'm gonna win in the later rounds, I guarantee you. I think in boxing it's just different the way boxers fight. Well, I mean, as far as talent level of boxing, Tommy Fury beat him in a split decision, right? He's a legit boxer. And then everybody else, like Anderson Silva kind of boxed, Muay Thai, box. I mean, he did box, and he was boxing. But, as far as a person that's like, when I say boxing, I mean like in those gyms. I mean, Nate Diaz has been sparring with Andre Ward in those teams for all his life. And obviously, I don't know if it's been like good sparring, if he was just a body, but most likely just a body. But he's been around that world. So he, to me, as an MMA fighter, leans more into the Tommy Fury kind of world than Anderson, Tyron Woodley, Ben Askren. All right. Wait. He addresses inactivity. No problems with the fight. Oh. It's not really a the inactivity thing. It's more just like he wants a fight, no one wants to fight. It's a problem. But who knows? I mean, it's also a problem because if he wants to fight at 170 and he's like, he's trying to take these fights at 170 and they go, well, we don't even know if he can make it. So why would I fight a person and take a whole camp for him to not make the scales? That's a fair point. But the 185 people, I don't know. I don't know why those fights haven't been made. Maybe it's because he's not fought anyone at 185. So maybe they're expecting a little bit more, and for him not to just like jump and take their spot. But that's not a way to look at it. You should be like, I'm in here to bully a 170er. Anyway, I don't know. That's just the way I look at it. I feel like you should fight Chimaev. I mean, you saw how well Gilbert Burns did. He's not unbeatable. We watched the fight with Ikram. It was going back and forth. He's not the most technically strong, like, he's not the most technically sound fighter, especially standing. But he doesn't have dog in him. He's got wolf in him. Like, that motherfucker does not stop. You have to, like, the crazy things that he says in the way of, like, you have to kill me, essentially, and all that. It's like, kill or be killed. Like, that kind of mentality is what he lives on, is unless you sleep him or you choke him out, he's not going anywhere. But you could exploit that because he's very aggressive. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy to me that he doesn't get fights. Because I feel like Apollo Costa, like all these guys, I don't know why they wouldn't fight him. It's a good payday. People like to watch him fight. Oh, here we go.
I think the biggest thing is maybe seeing him kind of top the line a little bit. Kind of being in the 3-point position, doing that.
Okay, so that's the first rule I go over. So, grounding opponent is anything but feet.
No, I get that, but I'm saying teasing him.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to go over that. So first I'm going to talk about it. It could be a knee down, grounded, hand down, grounded. Okay, so with,
this is like
people
the
say
least
calm down,
complicated
right?
thing in the
Now
world,
that's
right?
when someone's being defensive. You know, when somebody, of course, when your hand comes up, this happens. Weight supporting, I still count that as grounded.
Yeah.
Now, somebody's back here hand
That's all that it
fighting,
is.
and they play games like that, we know the difference.
Yeah.
And I'll get vocal about it, and I'm not here to be used
Still
to have
games,
somebody
though.
pull me into that. But that's so I know the difference between someone who's grounded and someone who's
But that's not what Henry was saying. And you'll see. Like, this is like, what is that? What is this? You know what I mean? What position is this? Self-defense wise, what is he doing? Like, what is he doing? It's not about like, oh, is he a grounded opponent or not? He is a grounded opponent, obviously. But what is this? That's the frustrating stuff. That's what I'm talking about. That's the frustrating stuff. This is a position you shouldn't even be in. You should be getting your hips in, not away. Why? Why away? Get into the threat, towards the threat. Find a way, cut an angle. I would love to see this fight, especially because Verdum is looking saucy. I don't know what he's been on. I don't know what diet he's been on. What meat he's been eating. This man's never looked better in his life. It's crazy. Post-UFC life for a lot of fighters, it's pretty good. I mean, we see it in the news recently, actually. Thiago Santos and Krzysztof Jotko popped for like banned substances in the PFL, and so they've been taken away from the season. And my buddy from the gym, Ash, shout out to Ash, he said, I don't want to live in a world where guys in their 40s that are like UFC vets can't do steroids. Like, I completely agree. These guys have put in the work. They fought the fights. If they want to still compete, they should be able to, and not steroids, obviously, but at least testosterone, you know, to at least get them on par with the 20-year-olds. That I don't, like, when they did those years of juicy, obviously it would have to be bigger regulations, and if you have like USADA level regulations, I think you could figure out testosterone levels. And so that's why I'm in favor of 40-year-olds getting the same level of testosterone as like 30-year-olds and prolonging their ability to compete if they want to. Obviously safely and regulated and stuff, but by a third party, I do like the idea of USADA, at least as long as it's not have any government affiliation. But I do like a third party thing that can, you know, whatever PFL is using, but like a monitor, like PFL drug testing, but like monitor testosterone levels. And that's it. Yeah, what a haircut! What a style. Who is this? Ian McCall? Oh, okay. Shout out to Ian McCall. Arman Saryukian against who? Yeah, this is crazy. It's banana. It's the Arman Saryukian's like Hamzat. It's like, it's crazy to me. This guy's got to fight Joaquim Silva. Not to take away from Joaquim Silva, and you know, he's 12-4, but this is Arman Saryukian. This guy fought Islam arguably to, or not arguably, I think it was a split decision, but you know, he fought Islam and gave him like a really tough fight. The toughest fight next to Volk, so it's bananas to me. All right. Let's see. Anything else that... Oh, Gegard Mousasi versus Fabian Edwards, Leon Edwards' brother, fighting this weekend. Middleweight. Winner gets Johnny Elbin, probably, for the title. Eblin. Okay. Ooh. How many? Good for Johnny. What did he sell? What did he sell? But like numbers wise. What did John Jones sell? Let me see. It's not saying. It's record-setting card for the past year with some of the highest marks. Deliver more record-breaking events. Classic. Was it just because the price of it went higher, and then he subsequently also sold a lot? That's probably the reason. They're not telling me how many he sold. That's what matters. Like, if he sold as many as... Like, if he sold 1 million, right? He's never sold... I don't think he's ever sold 1 million. Let's figure this out. Connor, Khabib. Okay, Connor, Khabib, Connor, Brock Lesnar, Mir. See, 1 million. Connor. Nunes, Tate, but that was supposed to have Brock on it. Well, Brock was on it. Along with Daniel Cormier and Anderson Silva. Brock. Ronda. And that's it. So, yeah, I don't know. This is 2020. No, this is 2023. So, yeah. John's not on it. Ooh. Let's see. I mean, we're going to get... Okay, we're going to get a little bit of this. I haven't seen this. I haven't seen any of it.
He provided some of the most electrifying moments ever in the UFC. A dominant run that earned him world titles in 2 divisions. At the same time,
Sell another 1 million pay-per-views, man.
the most notorious warrior ever is back.
He's looking saucy.
This season of The Ultimate Fighter.
He's got Owen Roddy there, too.
Makes his much anticipated UFC return.
Only want to be. This is more game forever.
Looking to spoil the party is bruising powerhouse Iron Michael Chandler. They'll face off as coaches.
You're slipping, you're dipping. Relentless in their face.
Guiding 8 warriors hoping for UFC redemption. And 8 looking for their first shot at glory. Team McGregor versus
Jason Knight?
Team Chandler.
Stop talking to me. You run your mouth. I'm trying to win.
It's the new season of The Ultimate Fighter. Premieres
Damn, bro.
only on
Big as neck.
ESPN.
Nice. I'm excited. When does it start? May 30th. Yes. Tough is back. Tough 31. We've been doing this for 31 seasons. And it still doesn't get old. It does. It does get old. Like, when I watch those now, I just, like, skip until the fights. What they should do is just, like, put the whole season out. Let us fucking binge it. But they have to like, yeah, they have to like string it out. So then when the finale hits, the finale of that is like the finale of the Ultimate Fighter is. So then they can set up fight camps and all yada yada yada. All right. What, Angela Hill reveals she is being trolled by Michelle Waterson's mom? What? UFC want you to retire. That why they set you up for a fight with Dern. You will lose by submission in the first round. Jeez. Wow. Maybe that's real. Hopefully that's real. That's hilarious. If not, that's also kind of funny. Whoever's trolling her that's hilarious. Matt Brown plans to make a statement with KO win over Court McGee. What a fair fight, you know? Court versus Matt Brown. Jairzinho Rozenstruik doesn't think Jai Hilton Almeida brings anything different to the table. Vows to KO him at UFC Charlotte. Wow. All right, well. That's a bummer, you know. Jai Hilton is his team, his coach is a friend of a family friend, so they're in town and they came to train at Triumph the other night just to, you know, do octagon work and whatever. I told him this and I was like, if you lived in the United States, you would have been picked up for football. His explosiveness is crazy to see. Like, he's also giant. I mean, him fighting at heavyweight is the correct decision because technically they're not good at all. And their team is smart. Their team is like well thought out. You know, they're like a well thought out martial arts team. They're not just going through the strategy or going through the motions of like, these are the drills that you do and da 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 da. No, they specifically game plan, like they do the whole nine, and their mentality on martial arts is, or mixed martial arts, is the right one. So when I see him and I'm just seeing the explosiveness, the technical acumen to make the right choices and focus on the right things in the right way, I had a future champion in my mind. This guy's the Brazilian Khabib. I told him that. I was like, you guys are the Brazilian Khabib. It's crazy. So it makes me like, when I watch, and I'll get more into it when we break it down, but when I watch his fights, it makes me appreciate more the things he does specifically, because there's like actual intention and reason, and it's more in the ways that, you know, Colby confident he'd KO Makhachev in if the lightweight champion moved up. Okay, cool. Not really much else. Okay, well. All right, that's about it. All right, so we're going to move into breakdowns for this next weekend. Before we do, Sunscrap Nation, subscribe to the podcast, please. Hit the noti bell, subscribe button, like the video if you can. It'd be great. Sunscrap Nation, Charlotte, North Carolina, come train with me. Learn some cool stuff. We can MMA, Muay Thai, boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, whatever. Come get better. All right. Breakdown time. This weekend, Charlotte, North Carolina, Spectrum Center. Saturday, 3 p.m. All right. Go through the prelims because there are some people. So, starting the card off with Jessica Rose Clark versus Tainara Lisboa. Definitely a fight to favor Jessica, or maybe I don't really know. 5-2. It's not like the worst, but actually a juggle fight. Some pretty. Oh, she fought Valentina Shevchenko in Peru. Yeah, what did... She just trips her. Oh, wait. Okay. All right. Well, she's Muay Thai. Yeah, I think this is a fight for Jessica Rose Clark. Next on the list is the one that I really wanted to talk about. Brian Battle versus Gabe Green. Shout out to Brian Battle. Wait, hold on. I can do it. I can do the thing. Shout out to Brian Battle. Charlotte on the map. This guy, I trained jiu-jitsu with him, and still around great guy. I mean, and he's here to rep Charlotte, and I'm happy that it's here, obviously, but they got him on the card, and he's a great representation of what we bring to the table. And I think Gabe's going to be a good test of that, being 11-4 and having a couple more fights. But yeah, Brian's a tough winner. How many accolades? There's 31 seasons, obviously, but tough winner, 30 of them. There's only 30 of them every year, obviously, but it's impressive. And Gabe is I think a win over Gabe will get him the fight that he really wants, and we'll get into that in a minute. But I think that's the trajectory he wants to go. He wants to he's trying to chase the fights, obviously, that get him to the championship, but he wants to make the right moves. And that's part of the game. So then after we have that, we have Jeon Kim and then Mandy Boehm. This is the second time Jeon's fought in Charlotte. Pretty sure. Yeah, second time she's fought in Charlotte. So, shout out to Jeon Kim for liking to come to Charlotte. Might be a fight for Mandy Boehm to win. She's 7-2. 33, 5-6. Arguably the same. Nate Levy versus Pete Rodriguez. Oh, Nate Levy's. Yeah, Paris, France. All right. Sorry, I only went to the prelims because of that one fight, and now I'm trying to look at other fights to talk about. Chase Sherman, Carl Williams, good fight. Cody Standeman, Douglas Silva, De Andrade, good fight. Matt Brown versus Court McGee, just a nice little veterans brawl. I like it. Talking about 2010s jiu-jitsu or 2010s. Oh my god. Opening up emails. Oh my god. 2010s MMA. Here you go. It's a nice little throwback to start the main card. We had Mackenzie Dern and Angela Hill. That got moved till next, or maybe next weekend or something. Yeah, I think next weekend's main card. I don't know why. I don't know the reasons. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe they just didn't have something, or I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, it got moved over to next weekend. Maybe the Edmund Shabazi and Anthony Hernandez wasn't doing well in sales. I mean, this card's kind of ugh, but it's on. I think it's in the Apex, so it's not like they're gonna lose money off of it. Yeah, it's just like a. This is one of those cards where it supports my point in the sense that if we just had enough fighters, like top 20 in the world, obviously we're not getting fights every weekend, but how great the fights would be. On top of that, you just wouldn't deal with this. You wouldn't have this issue. You wouldn't have someone pull a fighter from a card to put it on another card because it's not doing well as far as numbers and doesn't make any sense as far as like why put this card together? Why even have this? You have a certain contract, I guess, with ESPN Plus and whatnot, but it's just a waste of it's in Vegas, so it's like it's a waste of a card. All right, so main card, Tim Means versus Alex Morono. It's a good fight. Tim Means, I think, with his reach, is going to give Alex a lot of problems. It's a good fight for Tim. His striking's more versatile than Alex Morono's. Alex does have that one punch knockout, which he could try to lean on for this fight. Go to the body, go to the head. Touch the body, touch the head, and try to attack him that way. But I think with the versatility and just the more variety of weapons Tim has in the striking department, especially, it'll get him. It'll get him through. Maybe even with a knockout. So then now we have the Carlos Ulberg versus Ior Patoria fight. Carlos, obviously, training partners of Israel Adesanya out of that City Kickboxing. To me, the story of the fight here is just experience. 19-3 versus 8-1, 26. So, I mean, he's the dimensions. This Ior Patoria guy, aren't as crazy, but it's just the experience to me. At a young age, KO'd. Oh, he's the guy that KO'd. Oh, Shogun. Oh, but that Nikolai dude KO'd him. Wait, how did he lose a fight? That's weird. Ukrainian. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. This dude's a problem. Yeah, maybe probably Eeyore. I'll probably go with Eeyore. Just the experience, and it's from Ukraine, man. Tough times right now. He's got a lot of people backing him. I wouldn't want to fight a Ukrainian right now. That's all I can say. Daniel Rodriguez versus Ian Gary. So I think this is the fight Ian Gary, or that Brian wants to, wins in emphatic fashion here in Charlotte. 704, da-da-da-da. I think he wants to call out Ian Gary, who's fighting on this card, and kind of find a way to get that fight, because he's mentioned it before. Also, it's a good matchup. He could win the fight, and it's a good payday. Daniel Rodriguez, though, 17-3. I think this is going to be a hard fight for Ian Gary. Daniel Rodriguez is tough, and he's got good jiu-jitsu. I mean, and you look at his losses, it's not like he hits hard. He's got, like, Neil Magny submitted him. Neil Magny submitted him. That's kind of oof. But he beat Li Jingliang. It's controversial, but I think if Ian Gary wants to stand around with him, it's a bad idea. But I just don't understand. I don't know how he takes him down without getting threatened with, like, submissions or whatnot. So that's why I feel like it's a hard fight for Ian. He's a big body that hits hard, and it's not just a overhand. He has, like, he's got power in both hands, and it's, like, set up technically. I'm gonna go Daniel Rodriguez if I was to, pick a side on that one. And then you have the co-main event, which is Anthony Smith versus Johnny Walker. Anthony Smith says this is gonna be his breakout performance in this fight. I personally think Johnny Walker isn't just going to come all the way to Charlotte, North Carolina, not to do something crazy. And I think that unpredictability against a guy, with over 50 fights, it's a very... And he's I don't know if he's on a win streak. He is. I mean, his last loss was to Jamal Hill. And now seeing that he had that fight with Jamal Hill and he wants to get it back, I think that's the fire that if anyone's going to have a breakout performance, I think Johnny Walker is going to. That's my opinion. But can't count Anthony Smith out. He is a dog in that sense. But I don't know, the dynamic nature of Johnny Walker, especially at light heavyweight. Like, if this is a middleweight fight, Anthony Smith would probably take the shot. But just the fact that Johnny Walker is just, what is he, 6'5"? Yeah, 6'5". 205 pounds. I mean, something else on the day. And he does weird things, but it's with intention. I think it's hard to train for someone like that. I don't know if they've trained together, though. Why do I feel like they've trained together? Who knows? So I would lean towards Johnny Walker on that. And then Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Jai Hilton Almeida. Like I said, man, Jai Hilton different. He's him. I mean, his last performance, gets a right hand right over the top, boom, shoots in, takes. I don't want to, but Shamil Abdurrahimov down. See, and he TKOs him in the second round. This dude's known for his grappling at heavyweight. And Jai Hilton picks him up, takes him down, and puts him in the worst position ever, back flat, and TKOs and out Dagestani's a Dagestani. His speed, his technique, it's going to be too much and too fast for Rozenstruik, I personally think. And I mean, groundwork is his... Yeah. Decision, Curtis Blades. 3 out of 6 takedowns. And it's not like he's getting takedowns through sheer... I mean, some of them are sheer strength, but what his entries are very technical. He gets him to the position where he can get both of his hands around their knees. So there is no effort. A lot of his knockouts are... Obviously, the biggest fear in this fight is the unpredictability and the weird things that Jairzinho throws, like off his back foot, if he cuts angle in a weird way or whatnot, and hits him like in a position that he doesn't think he would have power, he's gonna have power, and that's part of what makes him like Biggie Boy, like why everyone likes him. But I just think Jai Hilton Almeida's speed and technique is going to beat a kickboxer in MMA. Simple as that. Like I said, they're smart. They're not just shooting doubles to shoot doubles. Also, 18-2. That's a pretty good record. as far as, prospect coming in. It's a lot of experience. So those are my picks. Hope you enjoyed them. And I hope you guys enjoy this weekend's fights. Make sure to like and subscribe. Remember, come see me. Charlotte, North Carolina. Come train. Subscribe to the podcast. I said that. Find me Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud. Maybe not SoundCloud. No, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, and YouTube. Once again, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it for those that have been. And until next week, because we have another card. Until next week, though, enjoy the fights. Peace.